One of the most interesting theories that I've probably been thinking about and I've seen online is that in all my thinking throughout these times, from my school life to my life, one thing that has interested me the most when it comes to these theories is one that spawns one simple question: is that what is this reality that we live in? What is truly happening all around us? And I've been through many situations before, be it physical, be it social, be it whatever, from warm to cold and cold to hot and zooming completely outside of the realm. Is that I wonder what this truly is. What really is sociality? What really is like what we're living right now? What is beyond time and like what is beyond all of our contextual understanding that we know? And I don't have much of an answer for that. And I know people have many beliefs. Some have from deities to gods and even in interdimensional beings. And yesterday, I thought of this one idea and about the idea of a disembodied consciousness. A disembodied consciousness is essentially someone who is just like us, but without a body. And in the dimensional sense, many things out there could influence us that do not exist within our 3D perception of view. And a disembodied consciousness would disrupt that dimensional grid, so to speak, or at least the reality that we live in, manipulate minds, change us in ways we couldn't even imagine, or even hack the US communication systems. I mean, a disembodied consciousness would be able to do that, and we can't catch it because we don't know how it works ultimately. And it connects to what I've been thinking because such a consciousness has to come from somewhere, right? Must have come from maybe a different universe, maybe a different place of a dimension, or maybe different laws or special reality that is not similar to ours, but they can describe it. We cannot. Imagine that. What if we are all consciousness that come from different places of what reality is? Reality is defined by whatever they dimension that we were in before we were born. And that means like internal understanding and sensory can be different to someone who came from like dimension A, for example, and then someone who came from like dimension B can come from radically different places of existence. And obviously nobody would remember it because we're still. Theory is that what if this world is technically a projection, but not like a holographic projection? People move their own strings, but from their understanding of what reality is to them, in both the literal sense too and the metaphysical sense. Imagine a consciousness from universe A talking to someone from a consciousness from like universe B, for example. They probably have like a lot of agreements with each other, but the way that they do things would still accomplish like a given task, but in like radically different ways. Think of it like 1 plus 7 equals 8, but someone just does it like 5 plus 3 equals 8. Those are the same things, but those are different numbers. And this idea of this is that what makes it the most interesting is that what if none of us are part of this world in a spiritual sense? Obviously, by flesh, we are literally of this world. But what if in the spiritual sense, we were never a part of this place at all? What if we came from different dimensions that were governed from different places and different ways of understanding that is completely incomprehensible to another person and learning to understand each other? We're a part of a bigger intergalactic journey, so to speak. And then this theory is that every interaction at this point, if we all come from different places or dimensions, is that it's not random to random. It's someone from this dimension for the first time meeting someone who came from this dimension for the first time. That's like the moon landing, but on a personal scale. And what if this world is not as we know it, but it's governed by other rules that we do not yet know, other rules that exist within the multiverse, if it does end up existing. And imagine like the idea of interdimensional beings. Imagine like neutral beings, bad beings, and good beings, or many types of temporal wanderers, for example. Ones, those are true disembodied consciousnesses because we don't know who they truly are. They just traverse each universe and each place. And we can't define them because they're completely out of our own understanding. They understand themselves because they're literally themselves, but we don't know them because they exist within a different spatial reality that we might need like meta glasses for example, but they're always there. And that's why you don't get like 500 ghosts inside us all at once. And all of a sudden, like within this universe talk, is that it makes bills, responsibilities, and applying for a job or applying for a position out there look pretty small in comparison, to be honest. And obviously, we'd still try our best at these things. Like if you do want to get to a position, you gotta apply for it, you gotta do all the good stuff, work for your money. But if all our energy is poured into these single things, then we're missing out on whatever the bigger picture is. And it makes even the things that I am scared of socially look small. I mean, if the truth is that if there's a piece of interdimensional reality out there, that means like social power, soft power, I mean, power in general is still important, but it's small compared to whatever is out there, especially at school. I've been talking about this one. But the thing is that if humanity isn't just people, but we're all of different universes, different rules, and different governances, then that means troubles at this point look small, manageable, and even to my fear. For months, I've been working against my own fear, like talking to people and having like new interactions. I've been facing that trouble too. But although that work done by me is valiant and it is hard work, I realized that in the first place, what if I did not have to fight the battle? What if I did not have to fight the battle of social fears in the first place? Like, what I realized is that social power and internal opposition are only as powerful as we believe in it. If I believe that I got endangered by someone, then I got endangered by someone. If I don't believe in it, then that means I don't believe in it. Obviously, if there's like a real risk, if there's like a real risk that's going on, obviously we might still get like harmed. But like within the sociality of things, within the idea and things, it's only as strong as we would believe in it. And although it's still important to like follow legal and written rules, obviously, but believing in micro realities, believing about judgments, believing about hierarchies, believing about breaking fears, that all of a sudden becomes easy, manageable. I mean, all of a sudden, I didn't just have to break a fear. All I had to do was just go up to people and talk to them. That was it. There was no other strings attached. And that gives like interaction with new people like a new metaphysical nature because it doesn't become making friends for a lifetime. That just becomes making friends for a universe. And where after this point, you may never even meet them at all once you head on to the next dimension. And if we're not really truly of this world by consciousness means, then that means social rules will still matter as much, but it matters less overall. It matters less in the whatever the heck the bigger picture is. Everybody's still tethered, yes, but no one has to participate in whatever collective thinking, collective amnesia, for example, if that exists. You just keep doing, building as much as we want to. And there is fear, there will be criticism, but the fear is only as real as we believe it to be. And that's what I've been realizing is that the bars technically still exist. I mean, if you want to do talk with people, but it's not as high as one would have once thought. I realize that, like, total, I mean, there are still many academical ways of success, but I mean, if there's a bigger picture, I mean, why don't we opt out of the game right now and build something different? Define the way that we want success to be in our own ways. And what means our internal self, for example. That means like social standing, I would define it by how I would define it. Someone else would define it by how they would think of it. That means if this place is truly temporary, we're not going to like break social rules or like take risks like this, not because we would hate them, but because I guess that we would want to experience something and like what it really means to be someone before we exit this dimension and really try our best.